went on the pity date my ex-boyfriend's best friend asked me on. So 3 months ago, my ex Blake dumped me right before our college's spring formal. He said I wasn't exciting enough for him and started dating this girl Haley, who was president of the party planning committee. Everyone knew about it because she posted their first kiss on her Instagram story. 2 weeks before this year's formal, Blake's best friend Cole messaged me out of nowhere. He said Blake felt bad that I missed last year's dance and suggested Cole should take me so I wouldn't feel left out again. I showed my roommate Bria the message and she literally said, "Oh my god, that's the most insulting pity date offer I've ever seen." But here's the thing, Cole had always been kind of cute. Like, objectively way hotter than Blake. He was on the varsity soccer team, had this ridiculous jawline, and all my friends used to joke that I dated the wrong friend. But he'd always been taken, so I never really thought about it. I stared at that message for like an hour. My first instinct was to tell him exactly where he could shove his pity date. But then I remembered how Blake's new girlfriend Haley was on the formal planning committee and had been bragging for weeks about her dress and how she and Blake were going to be the it couple of the night. Something clicked in my brain. I texted Cole back and said yes, but only if he promised to actually have fun with me and not treat it like a charity case. He responded immediately saying he'd been wanting to ask me anyway, but didn't know if it would be weird. That made me feel less pathetic about the whole thing. The week of the formal, I went shopping with Bria. I found this deep red dress that was so different from anything I'd normally wear. It had this open back and fit me perfectly. Bria made me buy it and said, "If you're doing this, you're doing it right." The night of the formal, Cole picked me up and I swear his reaction was worth everything. He just stood there holding flowers and said, "Holy shit," before catching himself. In the car, he kept glancing over at me at red lights. He told me I looked incredible, and the way he said it didn't sound like pity at all. We got to the venue, and it was this fancy hotel ballroom. The theme was Enchanted Garden, and Haley had apparently been micromanaging every single detail for months. I could see her across the room in a champagne-colored dress, hanging on Blake's arm. The second we walked in, I saw Blake notice us. His whole face changed. He literally stopped mid-conversation and just stared. Haley noticed and followed his gaze, and I watched her smile drop. Cole and I headed to our table, and within 5 minutes, 3 different people came up to tell me how amazing I looked. Cole's teammates kept giving him approving nods, and one literally said, "Dude, how did you pull this off?" Then Cole asked me to dance. And here's the crazy part. It wasn't awkward at all. He was actually funny, and kept making jokes about how seriously everyone was taking a college formal. We danced to like 4 songs in a row, and I realized I was having genuine fun for the first time in months. Meanwhile, I kept catching Blake staring at us. Haley was trying to get his attention, pulling him onto the dance floor, but he kept getting distracted. At one point, she literally snapped her fingers in his face. During a slow song, Cole pulled me closer and said, "I need to tell you something. This wasn't a pity date. I've wanted to ask you out since last year, but Blake got to you first." When he screwed it up, I waited a bit to not be a dick, but then I figured I'd regret it if I didn't try. I just looked at him, completely shocked. Before I could respond, Blake appeared next to us. He tapped Cole on the shoulder and said he needed to borrow me for a second. Cole looked at me, and I nodded. Blake pulled me toward the hallway outside the ballroom. He said Cole was being inappropriate hitting on his ex. Then he actually said, "I made a mistake. We were good together. I miss you." I looked back through the doorway and saw both Haley and Cole watching us. Haley looked terrified. Cole looked concerned but patient. I told Blake he was absolutely right. He did make a mistake, but his mistake wasn't breaking up with me. His mistake was thinking exciting meant someone who made a big show of everything instead of someone who actually made him genuinely happy. Then I walked back to Cole, took his hand, and asked if he wanted to get out of there and grab actually good food instead of the catering. He grinned, and we left Blake standing there in the hallway while Haley rushed over to salvage whatever just happened. We spent the rest of the night at this 24-hour diner, laughing about how dramatic the whole thing was, and it ended up being the best date I'd ever been on.